The puppet play is an allegory of my condition as an artist, also as the condition of Le Corbusier himself, being also having to deal with this institution in this context. So there's a parallel story of Le Corbusier trying to find his building and myself trying to find a project to do, which at the end of the day will be a puppet play. So it's basically it's a play about the condition of how you deal with a context, a given context. So we can go to the next image, and it's me with the archive of the next image. This is Le Corbusier discussing with this figure that is supposed to be the dean of the dean of Harvard. She's a Prementus, between Darth Vader and a Prementus, and a kind of also made of paper, like all these paper works, and kind of constructivist character. We can next image. And it's me who finally find the idea to do. So it's me holding Le Corbusier and myself. Very happy because I find how I'm going to do this project. And the next image, that you see just one, the proscenium. And the next image, this is the building. It's very interesting architecture. I'm sorry to have this image with the light inside. It will have been nicer to not have it. This is made with it's a very organic form as a root. We actually built this little theater. You enter here, look, and the proscenium is down there. We actually built this theater in the place where there was a mistake in the construction of the building, so no one was nearly able to access this. It's a kind of empty zone that they made, basically a dead zone, because Le Corbusier died before the end of the building, so he never followed totally the process of the building, and they made a mistake. So we just actually create these roots. And the next image, I will end up on this with this image, which is a stand-up comedy. When I show all this work that you saw, a lot of these works in London at the Tate, I met 5 stand-up comedians. It was also a very local language. Stand-up comedy is really British. And I asked them to imagine the way I'm producing my works, or the way to in a certain way to reconsider my work in a stand-up comedy form. And I invite 5 of them, really great people. And at the day of the opening and the day of the closure of the show at the Tate, there was 5 stand-up comedians doing the gigs. And obviously, it's her, and this is another stand-up comedian. And of course, she's reenacting the piece I've done in Harvard, but now it's her and her boss or something. Anyway.
So, should we see? Yeah, we should see the film now, and then.
Yeah. I mean, we decided to show the Antarctic film, which is a bit more abstract than. Yeah, no, definitely he has been
working with material
with the original material of the topography of the island. So that was a kind of base for him to work. We need to and then of course, obviously, as you translate that with a symphonic orchestra, you also put more and more subjectivity within the structure. It would be naive to think that there's a way to translate without losing anything, you know what I mean? And it's,
Well, you could have probably had it, but there would be no real punctuation because it would be much more without any...
Yeah. But I still did want to talk with the local language. which was, this kind of musical. So it's it's in a certain way it's a transcription of this topography in
the language of entertainment.
Yes, absolutely.
Was that final image witnessed by the audience live too?
No, I tried to. I didn't manage to.
Yeah, I didn't imagine how that
No.
could be possible.
It was it was planned at one point.
Right. Okay.
With a laser or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it carries over nicely in the film because it looks as if it could be almost.
Yeah, that is the only fake image
Right.
of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually, it's a detail, but he explained why he ran in New York as he never ran in 100 years this day. The day I did this event. So that's also why I'm filming all the musicians. Very, as you see, it's always from a close shot, because we had to create this tent which was never planned, and who arrived the day before,
The impact was really nice though, because it's inclement where you are too.
No, I like this kind of accident, but it was like a
technical nightmare.
But, yeah, absolutely. All the lights fall down and broke down in a few hours. So we have this very classic theater lights, which was never planned, which was a very complex show of light, but they all collapsed in a few hours. But that's it. It's not a big. At the end of the day, when I do the remake, or when this accident has to be incorporated, and that's when you do a situation and you play with the context, you have to accept this accident, and then they finally at the end of the day they're not so. They give a certain reality to this situation, which I accept.
Plus, you have the bonus of the vinyl window. So.
Yeah. I mean, the actor, but the animatronic had a hard time living under like a pouring rain, No, this. I mean, it's useless. I mean, that's another discussion, and it's a long discussion about how artists produce works. When it came to this kind of events, which is a public event, because it's a public event. I mean, there was an announcement on different radios, and I think the New York Times, and so it's really people who want to come to see this event come to see this event and this spectacle. But you cannot. There's no way you can plan everything basically. But I'm happy with this kind of accident. Sometimes there's so many accidents that it became very, very difficult. Like 2 weeks before, I was supposed to do a kind of holiday on ice, kind of dark holiday on ice, and the people there just refused that I use the ice. After according me, of course I will have the ice. 6 months ago and 2 weeks before, they decided that of course I'm going to damage the ice. So of course there was impossibility. So basically I just had to rethought the whole project in 2 weeks, which was highly, highly dramatic. And then it poured rain, and the whole light collapsed. And
that was harder than the expedition itself.
Yes, harder, and actually at the end because shooting in New York is probably the most expensive city in the world, and shooting in Central Park is probably one of the worst places in New York. If you damage like that of a tree, you pay $2,000. You know what I mean? So it became highly, highly, highly complex, and obviously also with liability in America, things become very problematic to do anything out a certain security control. So yes, it's actually this part is actually more painful and more expensive than going actually in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica. The center is more painful.